The storm is coming. But I will try to. I like this place. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Because we come
There's
Voy a tener una aspiradora, de esas que funcionan sola y limpian toda la casa.
¿Y cómo, Luz?
No voy a vivir acá, pues.
Every time that I jump into a new project, I have to say I'm kind of invaded for Imatus, and for me it was really clear after my first feature film that I had to do this, and it has a layer quite autobiographical that is specifically about this place, because in the year 1889, that was the year when Pinochet was kicked out, my parents decided to move to a community that is quite similar to this community. So I was 4 years old and I arrived to live to this place without electricity or phone, and it was like a world in constant construction. And I think, of course, this determines a lot my life. I was living many years in this place, and then I left when I was like 20 years old, and I come back to live by myself to this community again when I was 27 in a little house I had near my mother, and I started writing.
Yo voy a tener un container. Voy a ir solo acá.
Igual fome, ¿no? Ir solo.
¿Pero tú puedes venir?
Podemos dormir acá después de Año Nuevo.
The specific summer was like a transition itself. It was really intense. And I can see it now from the distance, because when I was asking my parents, why do you move just this December? They said, I don't know, we wanted to move, but of course it's like a reaction after this hope also, like it's a new beginning. And for me, I wanted the film to be like really specific in a way, but also timeless. I wanted to look to my country through this community. I think in a way it's like a little world. And also with a lot of hope. Yeah, it's like an utopia, and I think it's why there is some nostalgia for me also to look back, and there was an utopia, and now even this community is not like this anymore. And also it's the utopia to be an adult. What is to be an adult? Like, for me it's like, we were told that when we will be adults, won't have any doubts and we will be clear in our life. And it's not like this. I'm the same as I was a teenager trying to, I don't know, survive.
Mi mamá dice que si sigo fumando vamos a quedar chico.
Qué lindo.
¿No?
For me, it's a film about contrast, no? And also like generations, classes. But I also wanted to explore the no borders, like the interior, exterior, nature, human, like male, female. Like I really wanted to make a film that is closer to life. When I'm developing a project or writing, I'm like writing images. So in parallel, I'm always like trying to look. I cannot separate the form with the story. It was also like a coincidence, because I was trying to make this film and it was so difficult because in Chile, the Chilean fund refused the film for 3 years in a row. So I started doing more small things in the middle, these exhibitions. And I really think that sometimes you have like I got into like universe or ideas or like obsessions in this case, like the fire. Then in the film there's some layers related with this exploration, but for me was more like also like a period of my life, like 5 years of searching something.
¿No?
I told the director of photography that in a way is like trying to capture like a status of mind, like a collective status, and that was really like, how can we do that? We didn't know, but we were looking to, as you say, like trying to jump from one to another one, like adding something. So they are all in the same mood, and also the space. I think the nature is as important as the characters, and I wanted to all of them being like a same feeling or a status of mind. So this is totally different approach when you shoot people in a place or a place with people. So I was trying to just don't have the human rule, like to follow them as part of nature and without limits between the animals and the trees and the person. So I really wanted to try to erase these limits and to also questioning about property. So who are the owners of this land? Who is the owner of this dog? Why is this guy owner of the wife? I don't know, like property in general, it was something that moved me. And also I'm interested in this from before. There is a lot of choreography. I think the film, I had it very planned. So since the script that I was developing for a long time, I was writing images and I was imagining this situation with all these layers. But at the same time, we arrived like not knowing anything to the shooting. It was like a contrast. In a way, I had something very planned, like some shots that I know that it will work as a system. Like I wanted to come back to this shot every time and see how the space is transforming inside, or like at the same time I was much more free in some other sequences. So it was also like a game of freedom, control and freedom. I managed to create a group of people, or to call a group of very nice people in the crew, but also the casting that is a mix of very famous actors with non-actors from who are currently living in this community, or these kids that has not experience. But I think the energy was put in creating a very nice group and putting this life like on, and then also trying to capture as much as possible something alive, to try to document some real feeling of this.
No.
I always wanted to work with kids without any experience in TV or commercials or anything. So it was the first in my first feature film. And I asked my mother, she's an actress and she's living in the community now. And when I was casting these kids, I was thinking, I don't think you can create complexity. I'm just looking for kids that are complex. So I was meeting them, talking to them, and I thought they were very special. And you, as the characters I wanted to be, they seemed to know too much to be so young. And they were very open, and I would just then capture them. I was lucky they appeared, but I also, I had some techniques, but I mix everything. Sometimes we were making some rehearsals, sometimes they didn't have the script, we were making games. It was like a mix of things, but the most important thing was to be connected between them. So we were trying to make them friends and connected with me, so with the whole mood. I like to use the music in another position. So as the characters are not expressing themselves, I think the music is kind of being the explosion of these emotions that are so contained in the film. I think there is a layer of this utopia, or this like a more political layer of what these parents were listening during the dictatorship that was forbidden. All this music was like a protest music that is in the beginning of the film. And then in this transition to democracy, the music was really like random and eclectic in Chile, because it was the influence for the kids of, I don't know, Michael Jackson crossed political Spanish music. So I like to portray this. So it's a mix of music that we compose with very nice composers in Chile, like trying to imitate some things that I like, and also music from that period. And also the kids are playing their own music. So the song that Sophie is playing in the accordion is her composition, and the music that the young band is playing, they made it in the film, but they made it for the film. So it was really like a musical process.
Voy a vivir a Ñuñoa con un amigo. Queremos poner una agencia de turismo.
¿Sí? ¿Usted también me vaya para allá?
¿En serio? ¿Por qué?
Mi mamá vive en Ñuñoa.
So the title is Tarde para morir joven, and in English is Too late to die young. But in Spanish it has another meaning also, because tarde, it could be the afternoon, that afternoon, or too late. So is the afternoon to die young, or it's too late to die young? You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I remember I read this phrase when I was finishing my first feature film. I said, this will be the title of my next, and I didn't have the script written, but it kept my attention because it has to do with the early loss of illusions, I think. And for me, it's also too late to die young now. It's a mix. It's like a disillusion. It's like an end of an utopia. And yeah.